Hello everyone, welcome. My name's Untogether. Welcome to this, another one of our Geoguessr challenges, where I go around the world and we try and find out where we are. And we do it all without, and we do it all without making fools of ourselves. Well, you guys don't make fools of yourself, but I do quite frequently. So all is good. So where are we starting today? That is our question. And the answer is somewhere in Far Eastern Europe, perhaps Russia, is the answer to that. They've actually come into the garage. They actually pulled in to here to take photos. Perhaps he stopped off for a drink and a snack. And maybe he snuck in and then used their restrooms and then legged it without paying. No, can't read that. But obviously, clearly, we are somewhere in Far Eastern Europe or in Russia. So, Aneka Koba, a mile or a kilometre, I'm not sure which they use, that way. Now, police vehicle. Will you give us any clues? Probably not, because you just like an old ex-military vehicle, which again doesn't help me when we're looking around here. Big sign. The sign is blurred. Oh, it's just that place name again that we didn't know last time. Got the police vehicle going down there. What was this sign? I have to say, probably about traffic conditions or no. It's a commercial sign. Advertising something that I don't know what it is. Okay, that's no help. So the question is, do we think we're in Russia, or do we think it's one of the ex-Soviet states? Because I don't see it being anywhere else. That's probably telling you not to burn down the forest. Good advice in general and for life. Now, our sign here. No road name. And then some places that I've never heard of. Okay. A151. Again, I don't think this is a big enough road that it's particularly... now see, they have E's and M's. What about these smaller roads? Are they nominated A? See, that's a P road. It's a P. But I don't see any A roads in Russia. So, what about Belarus? They have M's and E's. And P's. P's. Latvia. Latvia has an A road. They just have the A12 and the A151. The A151 is what we're on. They just have A numbers, high numbers. Okay. Estonia, what do you have? E's and then just numbers. But no, A roads. Lithuania obviously has A's. And Belarus is our last knockings. They're still scared of Russia, so they use the P road designation. Well, we are reaching, but that's often what we do. So it's the only place to have A roads as a designation. I'm going to say, pointlessly, we're in Lithuania. My head tells me that we're not. My head tells me we're somewhere over in mainland Russia, around here, maybe even here somewhere, but probably more likely up in this part. But I'm going to guess Lithuania because of the A roads designation. So I'm going to go somewhere central Lithuania, and let's see how wrong I was. Hey, look where I was, exactly where I was moving my marker before. So even though we slightly hamstrung ourselves 1,462 kilometres away, still just over 2,000 points, which even though, there's the A151, look at that, I just need to find that one place with that one road that's marked, and there we are. There's your clue, folks, keep on looking. Right, so even though we've managed to get, that's very colourful, a long way away, still got 2,055 points, which keeps us on target because I think 10,000 points is a good target to aim for if you get dropped by Geoguessr for 5 random guesses, because quite often, unlike this where you actually dropped into a town, quite often you're in a road in the middle of nowhere. Tattoo piercing in English, but bodega de calzado, not English. Don't know if you didn't know that. I was going to say, are we in Spain? Well, no, we're not, because you can buy things in dollars, and you certainly can't do that anywhere on mainland Europe. So immediate credit, you can buy an Espresso motorcycle from $6,499. You can buy a quad bike for, yeah, you can read, there's no need me telling you that. But the question is, where are we? Where are we indeed? Well, that's generally the question we're asking for these whole things, but no. That just says what it says on that bigger sign. Feliz Navidad. It rings a bell with me, but I don't know why. Which means that's probably going to come back and bite me. So dollars and Spanish. Where would that be? Where would we be? Hold on. Let's come back here. Hotmail.com, you stink. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you have an email address in your country? Why would you use a Hotmail address for your business? That just smacks of unprofessionalism. Why has nobody got a flag out? Why isn't anybody telling me anything useful? Well, there's loads of useful things. I use dollars as a currency, and it's obviously somewhere. No, it's just a plaque. I wondered if that was perhaps a flag or something. Maybe it looked slightly like the Brazilian flag, but it doesn't seem to be. Okay, let's go up this way then. Let's see if we can't get out of these little side roads, find a main road, and maybe we'll be able to see a road sign or something along those lines. Alternatively, it'll just be a slightly bigger road. Let's go down this way. Seems to be a lot of traffic coming down here. See, I'm thinking Mexico, but I don't know. Do they not use peso in Mexico? Not dollars? Pesos and not dollars? Is that not a thing? That's what I thought. But again, Ronaldo, Rooney, Terry, Messi. That's an Arsenal shirt. Scum. It's a Man City shirt. Bautista, can't see who they are. So English football shirts, the most of those, barring Messi of course, most of those are English teams. So wherever this is, the Premier League is the one that they're selling. John Terry, of all the people you could choose, why him? So yeah, so the sport that again, but it's so ubiquitous nowadays. English football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. It's so ubiquitous around the world. The one thing that's is our greatest export, sad to say, it probably is at the moment. Well, I'm stuck. So they like football. They speak what looks like Spanish. They have the dollar as their currency. And it's not, so we're not mainland Europe. We're somewhere in South America. Perhaps we're not for once in Brazil. Brazil use dollars? No idea. I don't know enough about the currencies of South America to be able to narrow it down. This doesn't all look Portuguese to me, it looks more Spanish. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have a guess, and it's going to be a bad guess, because I don't really know. I can't even narrow this down to a country. I've narrowed it down to a continent, but that's not massively useful. There's a Honda dealership. Okay, so I'm going to avoid Mexico because the currency is in dollars, and I thought they use pesos. Well, they do use peso, but I don't know the symbol for pesos. I can't imagine it being the same as the dollar symbol. It could be out in Puerto Rico or somewhere like that. I'm going to go Colombia though. So I'm going to drop a mark in Colombia, and we're going to see how ignorant I've been today. That was Mexico. Wow. Well, those dollar signs threw me off completely. Urupan, which, yeah, we did see that quite a bit. We were right in the city of Urupan. My gut was telling me Mexico, it really was, but again, okay. So dollar signs are the currency that they show. Wow, 3,666 away, that's a long way away, 1,600 points. Completely the wrong country. Could have been worse, I could have said Brazil or somewhere, or even Argentina, and wind up miles away. So 3,748 points after 2 goes. We are behind on our mark, and we're back in Eastern Europe. Okay, so we're back in Russia, or a former Soviet state at the very least. So are we going to get caught out again? So we've been tricked twice now. One by A roads in Latvia, and secondly by dollar signs in Mexico. So it's tricked me. I like to think. I think virtually anybody would have believed the same things that I did. Is this a one-way road? Because look, why are they? What's going on here? Is there nobody else coming the other way, or are they just overtaking? Perhaps they seem to be overtaking. Perhaps that's what they're doing. Anyway, yes. So it is a two-way road. It's just everybody's impatient. So let's have a look at. Oh, where did Mr. Lorry go? Any clues from you? No. Spin him round. Ooh, zoom out. Mate, he's just going up to pick his nose. Okay, unmarked cab, unmarked trailer. Thanks very much for that. That's really useful. So let's carry on. That is going to be a place down there, but nowhere I don't think I'm going to know. See, I think Russia and the former Soviet states are even more difficult just to be dropped in the middle of than even the USA. I mean, with the USA you can have, sometimes you can deduce if you're in the north or the south, just just by sort of the kind of trees, the foliage that's around. If you're in Texas, you might see a Texas-shaped road sign, which obviously gives you an immediate clue. The signs generally in a language that you can read. And sometimes you might get lucky, and there might be a smaller town that you might recognise for whatever reason, a place name. Out this way, absolutely not a clue, because I wouldn't even know how to pronounce that. I wouldn't even know how to pronounce it. And I thought that was the sign for a river, but I don't see, because there's one on the other side, but I don't see a river going under there. So I'm not even sure what those signs are for. So there we go. So, that was, yeah. Again, unmarked wagon and trailer. Refrigerated trailer, you can tell that by the motor on the front. It's an old one as well. And a sign, which I really don't think is going to give us anything. No, it's a bit too blurry. Even if I could read the language, it's too blurry to read. So we're going to have a guess. What did we say last time? Over here. Let's say over this side a bit this time. I think we're in mainland Russia. I've got no basis for this, but I don't think we're in any of the other states. We were over here this time, so let's go over here this time and let's see. Hey, that ain't bad. 409 away. I'll take that. Again, one of these long roads in the middle of nowhere. We could have gone up there for another 200 clicks, both figuratively on the mouse and probably literally in distance. And perhaps not seen anything that was going to give us any use. Now this is more like it. This is a bit more interesting. Mountains, railroad, lake, beautiful scenery. This is why we come around Geoguessr. Is that 100 kilometers an hour? Maximum 100 kilometers an hour. Okay. You'd think by now I would know if Canada, because this is my first thought, use miles per hour or kilometers per hour on their signs. However, I don't. So we will have to go around. Look at this. How great this is. Imagine if this is your drive to work every day. You just have to pootle up this road past all these stunning vistas. Wow. The railroad right by the side of the road as well. As you're pootling down there, some huge, mile-long freight train just noisily rumbles past you. Ah. Yep, want to go here now as well. Get a motorbike and ride this road. That's what we want to do. But not fast, not like an idiot. Slow, just take it all in. Just take your time. I know that isn't a commercial vehicle, but there still might be a clue. It does say Canada on there, just about. I can just about make that out. So I think that's a rental. 800 RV for rent. And I'm pretty sure that's a Canada on the side of there. Oh, cruisecanada.com. There we are. So we're certainly in Canada. Now, in Canada, you've got all these mountains here. These are the Rockies. All the way up. So could we be somewhere along here? That's a big old stretch of soil still to cover though, if they are. So we will have a look. See, just a little place like that. Just sit there. Perhaps not dangle your feet in the water. It does look a bit scummy. You could just sit on the rock there and have your lunch and look at that view. Holy mackerel. Canada. I need to visit you one day. I really do. Really do. Well, this is going to be one of those, again, where we're perhaps not going to have much in the way of clues or luck. But given how impressive some of these mountains are... Ooh, is that a commercial vehicle that just went down there? Let's just see if he's got anything to say. He might have, but he's been blurred out. Because CN, okay, that doesn't help. That do not help. But given how impressive some of these mountains are, I'm going to make the obvious and probably wrong assumption. These are somewhere in the Rockies. Oh, hang on. What's this say? Geoguessr River Provincial Park. Okay. Oops. Didn't mean to drop that there. It's only a provincial park. It's not a national park, so it's not going to show up unless we really, really zoom. So here's some rivers, here's some mountains in the Rockies. Let's drop a mark up there. So we're going to go in the centre of these mountains here and let's just have a look. Okay, the other mountains. One's all the way over by Prince Rupert. 697 away, 2,310. Okay, that was the 16. Perhaps if I'd have kept going we might have seen that. And we might have been able to pick that up, the 16. We might have seen a sign for Prince Rupert or something, because I've seen that before. But never mind. Still, that is an area of stunning natural beauty, this part of the world. Remember this, folks, when you're next booking a holiday. 2,310, 8,575 with a final go. Hopefully, we're driving on the left. That's interesting. Hopefully, we should make 10,000. South Africa N4 toll route project begins here. That's pretty handy. So, N4 toll. How close in do you have to be to see ends and things? Don't know. Okay, let's keep going up the road a ways and let's see if we can't find a sign. But South Africa is a good start. Immediately driving on the left would have narrowed it down for me, you know. So are these to sell to the workers who are going down to that new project? I mean, what's going on? So what does this say over here? A little bit far away. Can we get one in? Yes, we can. The Bombo Port of Entry Repair and Maintenance Programme. Public Works Border Control. So are we on a border then? Are we on a land border somewhere? Le Bombo. Off into Botswana there. How did that happen? Or was it along this? Must be along this border here. So I'm looking for is Le Bombo, of course. We're also trying to see if we can see that N4 route as well. So I'm assuming border 4 here. So here's a 4 that runs to the border. So do we think we're on the Botswana? See border posts. So it says Lobotese border post. It doesn't say Lubombo port of entry. Unless Lubombo is the district of South Africa, perhaps. But it doesn't seem to be. So these are all engineers. Building civil infrastructure and blah. Firefighting equipment. So unless they mean port of entry, they don't mean. See, departures. So perhaps then we're on the coast. Perhaps port is literally a port. But I mean, that doesn't look like a coastline to me. But this is departures. Which therefore means this is arrivals. It says report to departures. He looks like a border guard, right? So he looks like, and him, they look like people performing border checks. These guys here look like border guards. And that's as far as we can get. They obviously don't let, the Google guys didn't cross. So presumably all these guys are crossing the border one side to the other. This side will be South Africa. I'm quite surprised it doesn't say, you know, nothing about have your documents ready. So pedestrians go through there. What does this sign back here say? It says South Africa Lubombo border control. Where does this route 4 go? That comes along here. Now that comes up to the Mozambique border on the other side. Lubombo. Here we are. I was on the wrong side of the country. Right, so it is a land border. This is the border post. So if we return to our start location, I can't quite see what that sign says. I'm going to assume that this bend here is this one here, I would think, because we didn't come very far up this road. In fact, we almost didn't come up there at all. So I think we're here. I don't quite see. Or are we perhaps in this part here? So we've got the turn of the corner going round there to the Bombo, and we're looking down this way. So I'm going to drop my mark here. That was an interesting one, folks. I was still a kilometre away. I was over. Oh, we were on the other side. Oh, of course, I was on the Mozambique side of the border like an idiot, and we were on the South Africa side. Yeah, that was stupidity on my part, but hey, we managed to find the right border crossing. I'm pleased with that, folks. And that was an interesting, thank you Geoguessr, that was an interesting one to look at. Originally, I thought we were this side, on the border with Botswana, but it turns out we were on this side, on the border with that, isn't that Namibia? No, Mozambique. On the border with Mozambique. So yeah, that was an interesting one. And so, being a kilometre away gives us 6,394 points, which is pretty darn good, which is actually going to make our score a little bit more respectable today, 14,969. Been doing pretty well recently, folks, I've got to say. And so, even with some pretty far away guesses, got thrown by Mexico, got tricked by Lithuania. Had a decent guess in Russia. Well, it was a guess, it wasn't anything else. Got the wrong mountain range in Canada, but at least we saw some beautiful scenery. And then it was really interesting. That was a really good one down there. I was pleased with that. Got the right road. Eventually got the right border crossing. And there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that one, folks. Click like if you like, subscribe if you want to see more. There'll always be more Geoguessr. It's far too interesting to stop. My name's been Untogether, and I will catch all of you guys for the next one.